Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Spokane County could be closer to getting an answer from FEMA regarding federal assistance for those who lost their homes this summer during the Oregon Road and Gray fires. As the cleanup continues, the Medical Lake community is meeting regularly to discuss the next recovery steps. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk was at their final meeting of the year tonight.
It's been almost 4 months since the Gray Fire ripped through Medical Lake, destroying 240 homes. Avista says it's now removed some 6,000 tons of trees from burn sites, and Spokane County Assessor Tom Konis says his office has worked to quickly provide tax relief for those who lost their homes.
My staff processed 781 total tax reductions due to fires. Normally we do about 50 or 60 a year.
Konis says once people are finished rebuilding,
we can get you a tax abatement for 3 years on that property after you rebuild, up to the amount that we reduced your value.
Fire victims at tonight's meeting are still wondering what assistance they will qualify for. The Spokane County Office of Emergency Management says right now $1.25 million from the governor's emergency fund is paying for some asbestos testing and winterizing RVs some people are living in. The money is also funding disaster case managers with the Salvation Army.
The case manager is looking at how you were situated before, what your situation is now, how you were insured, how you're financially situated, and then what are the gaps.
This week, Spokane County commissioners signed a contract with the state for an additional $3.5 million to address asbestos abatement and debris removal. The county is still waiting on an answer from FEMA regarding federal aid.
What I'm being told is the reason it's taking so long is because the president wants to get to yes. Their preference is to be able to help. So they're looking for ways that they can get us to a yes.
In Medical Lake, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
We turn now to some breaking news. Police say at this hour 3 people are dead, another wounded after a gunman opened fire on the campus of UNLV earlier this afternoon. And tonight we are learning disturbing new details about the suspected gunman. According to the Associated Press, the alleged gunman was a professor who unsuccessfully sought a job at the school. Sources say the suspect previously worked at East Carolina University in North Carolina. Authorities say the suspect was killed by responding officers.
What happened today is a heinous, unforgivable crime. But I want you all to know something. It's a crime that we train for each and every day.
Authorities gave the all clear about 40 minutes after the first report of an active shooter. A federal law enforcement official says the FBI offered assistance in the ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, 6 people are dead after a day-long series of shootings at multiple locations across the Austin, Texas area. There are at least 5 different shooting locations across the city. Authorities say it ended when police arrived at the scene of a suspected burglary and found 2 more victims dead. The suspect then exchanged gunfire with an Austin police officer who saw him in a backyard. The officer was shot multiple times.
It's just like, you always hear about it, right? And then to happen down the street from you, it's kind of nerve-wracking.
Police arrested the suspect after he crashed his car during a chase. He is being charged with capital murder in some of the cases. Police have not yet disclosed what relationship he may have had with any of the victims. We turn now to extreme rain and flooding in the Northwest. More than 6 inches of rain have fallen over 2 days in parts of western Washington and Oregon. At least 1 person has died after drowning in a swollen creek, and another person is missing. Over Rossburg, Washington, dramatic video shows the Coast Guard rescuing a person from a truck, then hoisting 4 others into their chopper from the roof of a house, all while being surrounded by rapidly rising floodwaters on Tuesday. The National Weather Service said some of these rivers won't drop below flood stage until later this week. Meanwhile, fire crews along the Skykomish River say rescue divers aided by a drone helped save the life of a man who fell into the dark, frigid, and fast-moving floodwaters. Drone video shot by Sky Valley Fire shows the moment rescue divers were able to grab a hold of the boater and safely bring him to shore. Fire crews say the call came in at around 6 Tuesday evening. The boater calling 911 himself when the small motorless vessel he was on was swept away. Fire crews were able to drop a line from the 522 bridge. The boater was able to grab that line but was thrust into the water.
if I can just get my hands on this victim and let them know, try to do some type of reassurance that I'm with you, we're gonna walk through this together, and we're gonna get you out of here.
A rescue swimmer with Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue was able to secure the boater about 5 minutes after he fell into the water. Crews say the drone above was able to pinpoint the location of the man in the water as they all worked together to make the dangerous rescue. And with the rain on our minds, let's switch gears and talk weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, it's certainly been raining here, but nothing like what they are seeing over on the west side of the state.
Yeah, they're just almost not even comparable with how much rain they've received. But get this, our temperatures still stay in the upper 40s. We are likely going to hit our high temperature tomorrow at midnight. That's kind of the way this one works. 46 degrees right now with rain still coming down. And with all that rain, we still hang on to the flood advisories in far northeast Washington and North Idaho. It's just those same areas that are dealing with snow melt and the heavy rain. Here in eastern Washington, we're quickly approaching the backside of this first round of moisture. I think overnight we watch it kind of ebb, and then tomorrow we see a little bit of scattered shower activity throughout the day. Snow creeps its way back down the mountains, and that's good news for skiers and riders. Friday, wake up to a little bit of snow, and eventually that moves out. I think we see sunshine Friday afternoon and more widespread snow as we get into the weekend, but right now, we're in desperate need of some snow because everything's been rain and a whole lot of melting.
Yeah, ain't that the truth, Jeremy? Thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. A staff sergeant with Fairchild Air Force Base will spend the next 2 years in prison for possessing stolen ammunition. Federal prosecutors say John Sanger devised a plan with other men on the base to steal thousands of rounds of ammunition by falsifying records, all at taxpayers' expense. The military and FBI discovered this stolen ammunition ring while they were investigating Sanger for something else. Agents believe he was also plotting to overthrow the government and harm American citizens. For that full story, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. The man shot and killed by Spokane police at a North Spokane Walmart over the weekend has been identified. The Spokane County Medical Examiner identified the man as 34-year-old Kerry Jones Hilberg. His cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound to the chest, and his death has been ruled a homicide. Yesterday, we learned from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office that someone shouted the word gun moments before the man, who was a suspected shoplifter, was shot and killed. The Spokane Independent Investigative Response Team is now investigating. Kootenai County detectives have identified the human remains found last week. Jacob Fulweiler was reported missing back in February. The 36-year-old was from Rathdrum. Hunters found his remains back on November 26th in the Twin Lakes area. The cause of death and toxicology report have not yet been released. And that was your night beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. The city of Spokane is requiring landlords to register their rental properties and units to an online database. The city says there are more than 40,000 rental properties within city limits, and city officials say they do not know if most of them are up to code. The city says the goal of their new online registry is to get property information, organize contact information from landlords, and gather data. Code Enforcement Supervisor Justin Ruffing says the registry will also help routine code inspections.
We're not in the business of causing problems for people or making life difficult. We're in the business of making sure properties are maintained.
The city requires landlords to register their property or units by the end of this month. There will be a $15 rental unit fee as part of the application process. The city also needs landlords to get a business license if they don't already have one. That license costs about $127 a year. More than 1 million people across Washington are getting checks in the mail. Attorney General Bob Ferguson says the money is coming from a price-fixing lawsuit over chicken and tuna prices. The restitution totals $40.6 million. The first batch of checks was sent out yesterday. More than 400,000 households are set to receive those checks, about $50 to $100 per family. That money will go to households with individuals making $59,000 or less and families of 3 making $100,000 or less. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But